Testing 1, 2, 3. I hope everybody can hear us. You should be able to hear us, but can one of my cousins go over to my YouTube channel? Because now my phone is occupied. I meant to do it before. But hello, and welcome.
Welcome, guys.
This is Two Jersey Girls Talk. And we about to talk.
We're about to talk today.
So what we talking about today?
All right, so we're gonna get right into it today, y'all. So first of all, y'all know that Kendell is our co-host of Two Jersey Girls Talk. But what you may not know about this amazing woman, so let me give you some information. Kendell is a remix coach, right? She is a motivational speaker. She is a podcast, just amazing at that, right? She's knocking the podcast out. I love it on so many different topics. But this young lady is passionate about a lot of things, hip hop music and old school movies and new edition. But the one thing that Kendell is so passionate about and that we're going to be talking about today, she is passionate about healing purposefully and aging fearlessly. Like, that's her thing, y'all. And she's so good at it. And so today, what she really is also an author. And so today we're going to be talking about her brand spanking new book. Y'all see my little dog here, my little tags. I've had it for a while. But excuse me, your Unhealed is showing. And so today we're going to get right into it. And we're going to be interviewing Kendell about why she wrote the book and what's it about and why do you need a copy of it? Because you do need a copy.
Yeah. All right. So if you're watching live on YouTube, just put a thumbs up that you can hear us. Because as you can see, we're at a remote location. So I just want to make sure you can hear us. So if you're watching on YouTube or if you go to YouTube, please let me know.
And these locations are starting to get interesting and fun, y'all, trying to find Wi-Fi and silence and lights and all that stuff.
But I think this hidden spot is the spot.
This might be the one.
All right, but I just want to make sure if somebody can go to YouTube, I just want to make sure. Thank you. If you could just put in the comment a thumbs up, that way I know you can hear us. Okay, thank you, Renee. Renee coming through. Thank you. All right.
So Kendell, let's get right into it, right? So my first question off the top of my head, right, is was it the title first or the book first?
That's a great question. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you why that's a great question. Because originally that wasn't my title, even when I wrote the book.
Right.
But it's something that I say all the time. You know, when I have my tea party, I say it.
Right. Exactly.
I always say it. And every time I say it, people go, ooh.
Yeah.
Like when I say, excuse me, Unhealed is showing, they like, ooh, because that is so, yes. Yeah. So I had an epiphany after we did, so I did a tea and conversation. That was one of the shows I had, but I did a live one, right? So after I had that and I said it, again, as I always say, the light bulb went off and was like, girl, change the title of your book.
So what was it originally?
It was, and it's in the book too. I don't know if I should give that away. The original title is in the book too.
Okay.
And it was.
So you want to keep the secret or you want to let me out?
What you think? You want to know?
Let it out so people know what your original vibe was.
Okay, my original vibe is I want to have a center. And the center was called Be Healed, B-E-E, healed. And the reason why is because I often talk about bees. And bees are significant because they have personal power. It's a community.
Right.
It stands for queen and leadership, right? So bees have a significant meaning for me. And I like bees. And I love bees. So that's what it was going to be called because that's the center I want.
Right.
But then I was like, that ain't a catchy title.
Well, it's not even so much of it being a catchy title. This title here jumps at you.
But that's what I mean.
It really is. It makes you stop.
Thank you.
Be healed.
Thank you.
Say, oh, that's a cute title.
Thank you.
Yeah. But this one says, this one wakes something up inside of the person who reads the title. Like, wait, what does she mean by Unhealed is showing?
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not showing, but it is.
Yeah.
And so Kendell, some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, me, because I bought the book first to support you, right? And at the time that I bought it, I was in this really euphoric, happy place. I was like, I don't need to read it, but I'm gonna get it for her. I'm gonna get it just to support my friend, you know, right? Because that's what I was down for. Great, you know, well-written book and all of that, right?
Thank you.
But before I even had an opportunity to open this book, an unhealed situation happened, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's what that means. Excuse me, you're unhealed.
Because she told me, because I had a conversation. Can I tell them? I'm not telling them. Tell them.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with Ahisha, and Ahisha was kind of a little short, and little snappy, and in her feelings. And she said, Kendell's not you, my unhealed is showing.
And so that title, like, really hit home. So that's where I wanted to start off with the title, right? But guys, when I started to delve into some of the topics and the things that she was covering, I said, listen, we got to bring this to our people. Like, they really need to know about this book. Like, some of us feel like we know her and she's this, you know, brown great girl and she does this podcast. But let me tell y'all, certified life coach right here in this book, it is everything. So let's jump right in. My other question for you, now that we know what motivated you with the title, was, what was your intention and your purpose? Like, when you I know you were going through things in your life when you tell your life story in this book, but I've always been a believer that you don't tell your life story just to tell an entertaining story.
No.
But to have an intention for your readers, right? So what was your intention for your readers when they read this?
I wanted my readers to see me and see themselves through me.
Okay.
Like, I talk about my childhood, I talk about certain things in the book where I needed to heal, and I realized my unhealed was shown. I talk about rejection and abandonment feelings, and when people think abandonment, they're like, oh, she must not have had no parents.
Right.
No, it's all kind of ways, right? Exactly. So I talk about that. I talk about the deaths in my family that impacted my life forever. You know, I talk about friendships, and people don't understand that you have to heal from friendships. Like, some friendships, I call them slow cooker. Like, you can see the slow cooker. It's almost, you already know that friendship is not meant to last. It's here for a season or a purpose. Slow cooker.
And that's okay.
And that's quite all right. Okay. Then you have friendships where you grow apart. That's fine too. But then you have friendships that kind of dissolve and you don't know why.
Right.
And those are the ones that a lot of people have to heal from.
Right.
You know? When people be like, oh, whatever, it's other friends or it's different. Because each friend has a different purpose in your life. So I talk about those things. I talk about just so many different ways that we can heal. Like, even if you have a friend and you've had since you were little, your next door neighbor, y'all did everything together, you had sleepovers, you did everything, right? But then all of a sudden that family picks up and moves. That's rejection. That's abandonment. And then you have older girls becoming, or older men, or older boys, I should say, becoming men, and they realize why they can't get close to people, why they feel like, you know, I don't deal with, where women say, I don't deal with other women. Yeah, where does that come from?
I don't use that statement, but that was
But people say that. I don't use that either, because I believe women need women. See, but a lot of women, I've heard, as I've gone around speaking and having conversations with my audience, a lot of women be like, I don't deal with other women. Like me, I want to know, where did that come from? Right. Like, I could be watching a reality show and I see women or men acting or behaving in a certain way, and I'd be like, that unhealed is showing. And I would tell my daughter, I'd be like, this is happening, this, and this. And as you watch the story, certain things unfold. I'd be like, I told you. Right. Like, I could see it. So I'm the type of person that gives people grace. I remember I worked with this girl named Terry, and everybody would say, don't deal with her. She's mean. You know, she's rude, or she's this. Right. You're so bubbly and happy. How do you align with her? It was something that I saw in her. And as we became friends, she started sharing certain things with me. And I understood, and I could see, because I could see past someone's surface or somebody's mask. Right. Because when people are faking and they wear these masks, you know what I mean? I see it. I see the vulnerable little boy or girl. I see the hurt and pain. Like, I see deeper than that, where someone may just cut them off.
The mask comes from them hiding the unhealed, right? Wanting to not let the world see their unhealed.
Yeah. And Renee said, because of jealous behavior and cattiness, a lot is a huge reason other women say that. Right. I agree. And with that,
all of that
has something. There you go.
Even if you're responding to their behavior or they're acting a certain way, it comes from somebody in that situation not being healed.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what people don't understand. It's not, people are not surface and one layer. There's so many layers to people, right? Like Pandora's box, right? And people don't understand that, and people will judge someone from the surface. Now, this doesn't mean to ignore if people hurt you or do you wrong or make you or you feel this way around them. It doesn't mean ignore those things, but I think that you have have to have a level of understanding, and compassion,
and empathy.
Yeah. My daughter said I have too much.
Well, some people don't know the difference between sympathy and empathy, right? So there is a difference in that.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can have too much sympathy for people and not enough empathy.
Yeah.
That relating to someone.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: there's a lot of people, and I've seen this, when they're telling stories.
Yeah.
They don't use their own life, people are writing books and things.
Yeah.
You purposefully use your story in helping to tell the healing process.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was so important that you use your own personal story as opposed to just giving people examples of other people?
That's a good question. It's interesting. This is not my first book, but it's my most vulnerable book. In each book, I share a piece of me because I don't want to be that coach where you telling somebody how to do, what to do, and you ain't never experienced their business. It's almost like telling somebody your deepest secrets or your feelings, and then when it's their turn, they just look at you like, after you done poured your heart out, they like, and they don't share nothing about them. You ever have somebody like that? A friend is like, I just told, really? Judgmental eyes do we have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want, this is the most vulnerable. Now, when I started writing the book, I didn't know it was going to be my most vulnerable because I was going to share pieces like I always do.
Right.
But then I just started going, well, let me show you why, or let me show you how. So the way the book is written, I give the facts, I give statistics, I give examples of how you need to heal, and I share mine. And I do, life coaching in there, and research and study is in there at the same time. Thank you. And then anytime you see the italicized text, that's me sharing that part of my life with you.
So now, with so many books out here on healing, and everybody's writing, and there's so many practices and things and journals and things like that, right? What do you feel makes this particular book more unique? I know from the reader's point what makes it unique, and I'll share that. But from the author's perspective, what did you think was going to make your book different than just me picking up somebody else's book?
Because it's really authentic, it's honest, and I didn't want a book where I know some big words, y'all, but I didn't want a book that was real wordy and just filling up the blank. Because it says healing purposely and aging fearlessly, but it's a brown Band-Aid.
Right, I noticed that. Yeah,
and brown because I'm brown, and it's important for our community to heal.
Right, absolutely.
I want to leave the legacy of healing for us, and not sweeping stuff under the rug, and not ignoring. And people are struggling through their lives, and this generation is sweeping it. Then you got the next generation sweeping it, and then you're teaching your children and grandchildren how to sweep things under the rug and not express your feeling, and not talk about mental and emotional health, not talk about it's okay to not be okay. So when I did this book, it says Little Book, Big Healing. So I knew that I wanted to have a small book where somebody can just kick around with it and carry it. Throw it in your purse. I didn't want...
Right here. It just goes right in the purse.
Right. And that's how I wanted it. I brought one too.
I need my copy signed.
Outside. So I'm sit this right here. Look, let me sit this right here.
Sit this right here. We doing shameless plugs now.
Right. Since we talk, I ain't gonna do it no other show, obviously. But honest, I didn't want to just fill the pages with words.
Right.
I didn't just want to show you how smart I was, how evolved I was, how much I
Right,
studied this. I
That's
just
what I
want to
was gonna
show
say
that.
too.
I wanted to do it like layman's term. Like if your level of reading is down here, if your level of reading is here, if your level of comprehension, understanding is here, you know, if you're a doctor, here.
Right.
You know what I
This book
mean?
is for every person who is dealing with some unhealed, and even those who may not realize how hurt they are, this book may shed some light on some things that you may not even have known were triggers for you, or things that you may not have considered an unhealed situation, right? So the other thing that I really noticed about the book that I love is not just good reading, but you also have activities and questions in the back. You have summaries. You know, those are the things as a reader that make a book stand out for me, right? Because I can read all day, and I can pick up my own notebook and make my notes. Sometimes I want to know the author. What did you want me to get out of it? What is your intention and your purpose? And so when I go to the back of this book and it has questions and it has a letter and it has a summary, like after I've read all of this, now I can kind of go and say, here are some pointers and saying out. Like those are the things for me as the reader that made this book so unique to me. Why did you add those things in? Like, why did you feel like those things needed to be added other than just writing, a dissertation? Basically? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because as an educator, I understand that people have different styles of comprehension. People have different techniques. Some people may not be able to sit and read a book. They just might not be able, for whatever reason. They might have ADHD. They might have dyslexia. They might have some type of learning disability, or just not. They're busy. Busy. They can't read. So the whole book. One of my friends, meant a lot to me. She was like, "Girl, I read this book." She said, "I was staying up to the wee hours in the morning, and I had a little bit left." And she said, "I couldn't wait to wake up and finish." Right. Yeah, and she said, "You showed me so many triggers that I had in so many unhealed places that she was able to choose herself." Right. Because so many years she used the unhealed spots. It kind of paralyzed her. It kind of gave her insecurities and feeling like she wasn't good enough or she couldn't have more. Right. Yeah. And she was saying when she read it, she said, "Oh my God, I can relate to that. I can relate to that, and I understand." Yeah. Like I found that is you would think, like with so many people in the world that nobody would really feel unique in their situation. What people do, people can feel very isolated in what they're going through. Yeah. Nobody understands it. Nobody's gonna be able to relate. People are gonna think I'm this or this or this, and then you open some magical book like this and go, "What? Yeah, Kendell, who looks like she's got it all together, actually went through these things." Yeah. Or you're gonna learn a lot about me in this here book. Or that the unhealed happens as life goes on. Like I remember times in my life where I felt like I'm here, I've arrived, I'm healed. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then something comes along and says, "Oh, there's something else I need to learn and overcome." Yeah. And so I really enjoyed that this book allowed me to explore my unhealed areas, because I don't ever want to stay unhealed, right? I don't want to become surprises in my life. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Yeah. So it was really important to understand and relate to my triggers, and then have some solutions about it too. I love that. And then like the back, so what Ahisha was talking about earlier. So I read the book and I break it down in the chapters, obviously, but at the end I say, okay, so what have we learned? Right. What is the summary? Yeah. And I even give you the definition of what healing is, because people talk about you need to heal. Well, what is that? You know what I mean? So I try to summarize the book, and then I do bullet points and takeaways. So, to help you. So, because sometimes you can read a book and then you can comprehend the book. But then if you need to just flip through to say, well, what was it? Then you'll have that at the end. Yeah. You could even, like the way her clip notes are done, you could take a picture of that page and have it with you on your phone. Wow. But there's something that I underlined here, right? And it's what she's saying, allow me to share my personal acronym, which, by the way, I love her acronyms. It's so cute. It's so catchy and so on point. Thank you. But she has an acronym for what heal means to her. And I'm just going to read this really quickly. But the H is for honor. The E is for everything, the A is for about, and the L is for life. Healing means to honor everything about life. And I'm going to ask you what that meant to you, but I'm going to tell you what it meant to me. Okay. I read it. So when I read that, it means that no matter what's going on in this life, right, whether I perceive it as something great
or something that's not so great,
Yeah.
I'm going to honor it because I know that it is coming into my life to teach me something, to grow me. Because again, my belief is that everything is always working out for me. So I honor everything about life, and that brings my healing. When I read that, look, I had to highlight that. I was like, listen, y'all, this is good stuff here.
But that's exactly, I'm like jumping out of my skin because that's what I wanted you to get.
Yeah.
Because you honor everything about life. So my acronym HEAL, HEAL, honor everything about life, because everything in your life and about your life is for purpose.
Yes.
It's for good. Even if you don't see it and understand it now, hear me when I tell you, it's for your greater good. It's to build your muscle. It's to give you strength. It's to make you have compassion. Because if you haven't gone through some of the things, you may not have compassion for others. You may not have empathy for others. You may not have that level of understanding that they need for yourself or others. Yeah. So many people, especially in our culture, vulnerability has been considered a weakness. Yes, but it's the biggest strength that you can have.
It is, And we're in a stage, or like I always say, energy's flow, right? Where everybody's about being transparent, right? I can honestly say, like, especially on social media, I'm not the most transparent person, like everybody's in my business, right? But I do understand and recognize that transparency is helpful in a sense of being transparent with yourself. You know how people lie to themselves, Kendell?
All the time.
Like really, all the time.
All the
I'm
time.
good, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I hate, can I tell you, I hate that answer.
Yeah.
How are you doing? I strongly dislike two things, right? How are you doing? I'm going to tell you why I don't like that question. And I'm fine. Why I don't like the answer. So why I don't like how are you doing is because nobody gives a care how you doing. They're saying it as a pleasantry or something good to say. It's almost mechanical. Hey, how you doing? Do you really care how they're doing? Are you walking away as they're telling you how they're doing?
So it's not the question, it's the intention of the question. Are you
exactly.
Really asking
and most honestly, most people don't. If you don't look someone in the eye and say, "Hey, Ahisha, how you doing?" You don't care. And that's no diss to anybody. You don't care how they're doing. It's a greeting to you. Hey, how you doing?
It's like saying hello.
Because by the time I can tell you, you were already out the door. Right? Yeah. So don't ask. Just say, hello. What's going on with you? Or if you ask how you doing, stick around. Stick around to get the answer. Yeah. And I don't like it's fine. Now, if you have someone in your life that you care about and you ask how they're doing, do not accept fine for an answer. Because you can't be fine. It's right? Mediocre. Fine is mediocre. Fine is the opposite of thick. And when I say that, I mean a fine pencil, a pen, a thick or medium point. That's not a feeling. Fine is not a feeling. Fine is a description of something, and that's not your feelings.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when someone, how you doing? I'm happy. I'm reflective. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. Name your feeling. Name what you're feeling when someone says, how are you? Be honest. And most people are not used to anybody giving a care. So they just say, I'm fine. Because they say, I'm fine, I'm good, because they think you don't want to hear the real answer. And most people don't.
Or they don't want to share.
Or they don't want to share. But at the same time, that's where your unhealed continues to show. Yeah. And I'm not saying anytime anybody asks you that, you'll divulge everything. You got to use wisdom and discernment and say, okay, who can I tell? And be led to tell whoever that is.
Right. That right there is important too. We talked about that a little bit last week of like knowing who your sources are for the things that you're dealing with. You know, like who your true support is, and not just I'm just telling somebody my business.
Yes.
There's definitely a difference.
And my cousin over here, Cherie, says, and then if you say something troublesome, they don't want to deal with what you say or get annoyed with you.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
That's true.
I think that coming from the person who's asking the question, that's why I say your intention has to be, because you're right. I don't want to hear everybody's problem that I solve. next to,
No.
right? It's not even a chagrin against that person.
Yeah.
Not everybody's your listener.
Yeah.
Not everybody's your ear.
Yeah.
To bounce off, or they might be going through their things. I can't
Yeah.
take on your thing today.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with my thing.
Yeah.
So that's why when you ask someone how they're doing, either really mean it,
Yeah.
and be willing to listen,
Yeah.
or find another greeting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But also, this is the thing. You don't have to tell everybody your business,
Right.
but you can name that feeling and name that emotion.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little sad today. And if you don't know what to say, you know what? I'm going to really pray for you, or I'm going to think
feel
about you. I
better.
hope
Yeah.
you feel better, or I hope this day gets better for you. That's all you would have to say, because they might need to know, and that's the inspiration that they may need.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a long exchange. That's what you don't have to pour out everything. Use that pouring out to who you discern, or who the wisdom to release, that you decide who that person is. That might not be the person. Now listen, if somebody's opening the door for you and they say, how you doing, you don't know them from a can of paint. No, you don't have to regurgitate everything that you're feeling to the perfect stranger. I'm talking about the people that you know or care about.
Right.
Or if you have that time and you're led to listen to a stranger, then do that.
Right. All right, so Kendell, we don't have a lot more time left, right? If you were to sum up everything about what this book meant to you,
Yes, we can take it to 45 if you want. That's up to you.
Okay. I think we will have questions or something like that, and then we will take a longer time. So anyways, my final question about the book, right, is that you wrote it, right? You went through your emotions about it. It's now a finished product. When you got done and when you looked over your finished piece, what was your feeling when you got done? There's one thing to, here's my title, this is why I'm writing it, this is the intention, and now the book is complete.
Yeah.
Where are you at in your feelings toward your gift to us? And that's what I wrote in my introduction, that she wrote something that was a gift to us. Because anytime somebody opens up their heart and becomes vulnerable for you, not just to tell a story, again, not just to say, oh, my life was entertaining and I want to make you guys laugh or cry, but I'm telling you the story with the purpose that your life will somehow be better. So when you got done, how did you feel?
Whew.
Not so bad at my questions, huh?
No, I already knew.
Look, she's the interviewer, right? She's the interviewer.
I knew she was going to do a great job. I already knew that. That's why I said, do you, whatever you, because I'll answer anything. Anything that you guys have questions with,
very transparent.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and I feel something like really all over my body, because
I felt like you really invested in this, so I didn't want to interview you and ask you questions that were like they could pick up and see themselves.
You asked great questions.
Thank you. But I really wanted the people to hear your love and your passion about this project. It wasn't something that she put together so you could spend $1, she could have something in her pocket. This was a heartfelt gift. So now back to that.
You saying that that's a gift, that means a lot to me. Well, my keyboard was wet. There were a lot because I was crying.
Right. Yes.
There were chapters that God literally said, write it, and I was like, I don't want to.
Right.
Like
I wouldn't,
because I know that I had an outline of the chapters that I was going to write. What I was going to say. Right. I said, I'm going to write this chapter going to be 1, 2, I'm going to read, right? But then I went back to look at that, and I was like, okay, maybe 3 of those chapters, and it's a chapter with death and desertion.
Yes.
And I wasn't going to write that, and that's
and
my longest.
One of my favorites too.
Thank you. And I wasn't going to write the death and desertion. That wasn't originally what I was going to do. And God literally was like, "You need to write that." I was like, "I don't want to," and had to write it. And it's one of the longest chapters, and it's talking about death.
Why didn't you want to write it?
Because I have a problem with death. Like, I've lost so many.
Healing and writing it?
Yes, I am much better than I used to be when I was little, and I used to think about when I died. Like, you mean there'll be no more you? I could not fathom, and my mom didn't even know I would be in my room trying to process and understand that. And then, losing,
like, what does it mean to not be anymore?
Exactly. And then losing my favorite cousin, who I talk about extensively in this, when I was 17 and she was 19, and she was like my sister. And that was like the first, because I had lost people before that, but I was a baby. I went to funerals.
It was your first part hit.
Right. And before this, my uncle died 15 months. My favorite cousin's father, died 15 months or somewhere around there, 18 months before her. So that was my first funeral that I remember, and then turn around and then she passes away. And this is the cousin that taught me and showed me about Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I had my little questions about the breast and the periods and the this and the boys. And she answered all, yeah, she was 2 years older. Okay. So she answered all of that. We would be up at night, to the point where her and my cousin Mike, we'd be watching Saturday Night Live with Eddie Murphy. We were so close that we used to go to the bathroom together. And when I mean, she'd be like, if somebody had to go, be like, okay, you go put one on one side and I put on one. We've done that when we were little. We didn't know. Like, we were super tight. Like, she did not play about Kendell. She did not play about me. And she was my protector. She was my child be crying on here. She was my big cousin. And when she died suddenly, I didn't believe it. I didn't understand it. So I talk about in the book that she died at 19. I was 17. I didn't know if I was going to live to 19. I didn't know if my kids were going to live to 19. I didn't know my little sister, if she was going to live. So this 19 was like, will I die too? And I talk about that in the book. And I did a conference, a women's conference in honor of her. And I believe that's the only place I talked about it. So people didn't even know, my mom didn't even know I felt that way until I was an adult. Right. So I talk about her, and it's a way anytime that I can honor her. And I talk about my grandfather who, I've had my family and my mom and of course my dad, loved me and my family and all of that. But if I ever had any doubt about anybody that loved me, it was my grandfather. Right. I knew without a shadow of doubt, and he passed away. And I talk about that, and I talk about how we need to heal. And I don't think it's desertion. I don't think it's abandonment, but I know people do. People think, because you ever hear people say, why did they leave me? They left me here by myself, and they're angry. I didn't feel that way, but I know as a coach, talking, people talk about that, right? So I shared, those type of things, and it was so important after. And you asked me, well, how did I feel afterwards?
It's done. It's complete.
I felt empty in a good way.
Yeah.
I felt like if one person read this book and they were able to start their healing journey, then I did. Yeah. And whether I sell, and whether I sell one book or thousands of books or millions of books, it's not about the dollar sign, and it's not about how many can I sell, or will I be an Amazon bestseller, although that would be nice.
All right, yeah.
But that's not what it was for. Let's speak it. Amazon bestseller. I would love to be that. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I just felt like this book was going to resonate more than any book I've ever read. And wrote. And I always write from a sincere, honest place. But this felt different to me.
Yeah. Even the title, the way you did it, like you could have just put your Unhealed show, right? But it's that little, excuse me, it's that little like, pardon me, hey, let me get your attention just for a moment. I just want to let you know you got some Unhealed showing. Like, even the title is gracious and empathetic, and it's okay, but you may not notice you got a little Unhealed showing right there. Like, it's that little sweetness of like, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but sis, bro, you got some stuff that's flashing up that you may not realize. And I'm here as a person to help you and say, you don't have to live that way. You have to keep those unhealed things.
And I want to say that this book is not just for women. Let me explain that closer. This book is for the unhealed. And a lot of times when it comes to self-empowerment and bettering ourselves and healing, and we talk about self-love and self-correction and all of these things, right? People automatically go to women.
Right, yeah.
And men emote, men have feelings, men have tragedies. I
Men
have
have
one
triggers.
about triggers. Men have
Triggers.
triggers. I have a chapter called Parents and Parenting.
Oh my goodness, that one right there. I had to leave that one alone. I'm gonna go back to that one.
Women have mommy daddy issues. Men have mommy daddy issues. I talk about that. It's so important to understand that we all need to heal. Can I read The Legacy of Healing? I just want to read this part.
I was gonna ask you,
and I want to do I brought this book because I want to do a giveaway.
Okay.
I want to do a giveaway. What you do is just to Lenice@gmail.com. I want you to give a paragraph. You don't even have to go long. You can go as long as you want. You can go, paragraph is the minimum. And I want you to tell me a time where you recognized your unhealed was showing.
Yeah.
Right?
Or maybe even a little video clip too if they want.
Yeah, you can do that. And then I'm going to choose, maybe 2 winners. And I'm going to give 2, maybe if the spirit moves me, 3. But
listen,
I want
guys,
you to get
send in the video, send in the paragraph. You are going to love getting this book as a gift. And even if you don't do it that way, go to Amazon. And I'm going to spell it out so y'all don't mess it up. It's Kendell, 3 L's, Enice.
You always say that.
Right. Because I mess up. Somebody think I forgot some letters, right? So it's 3 L's in there. Kendell, Enice. Go to Amazon. Get this book, not just to support her, right? Because maybe you don't even know her to support her. Support yourself. This book is going to change your life. It's an easy breezy read, which I think is really important. You could read it in days. You could reread it. You could highlight it. You can make your little sticky notes everywhere. And more importantly, when you're done, I love that she put the activities in the back of the book so that you can take your time, read it, and then go back and write the letter to yourself and answer the questions now that you've gotten some knowledge from her book and open up to it. Just amazing. She also has a journal out that's amazing too, but today we wanted to focus on this. But listen, get the book, get the journal, start your journey to healing, and have an amazing experience. And so that nobody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, excuse me, you're unhealed is showing. You don't need one tap.
I see my unhealed showing, and I have to self-correct. I have to have conversations with myself, but I didn't want to mess up your ending. I'm sorry.
Kendell, like online, I'm right now, right? People know me online as a joy inspirer. My posts are joyful and they're happy and they're uplifting. Does that mean I don't go through stuff? No. Does that mean I did not need this book?
Yeah.
No. I don't put my unhealed on display, but that does not mean that I don't have triggers and I don't have things that make those little things pop up. 50 years old, I still have some unhealed areas. The difference is now that I know about things like this that help me not be the unhealed.
Yeah.
So what
it's
are your
so
final words about your book?
It's so important. It's so important because as a life coach, 20-something years, and I love to debunk that myth.
Right.
I'm a life coach, right? So people think doctors, life coaches, therapists, all of these people of service, they don't go through anything. I have the education, got the degrees, the certifications, but I also had almost 52 years of experience, right? My life experience. And that counts for something. Even if you go to college, some college will give you credit for life.
For life experience.
It's that, right.
Like
they will give you credit for life experiences, right? And I love to debunk, even with life coaching clients, I'm like, I'm your life coach because I can I can give you everything that you need, but also I can give you me. And I understand and I'm empathetic and I will push you even further because I know. So when people be like, life coach, I've heard people say they a life coach, they should have their life all together. No, because life and every but people have said that. I had to end a friendship that I had of 20 years because I confided, and I she's mentioned in the book but not mentioned. Right. And I confided in her about some things, and she was like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't life coach until your life is perfect." I said, "Well, I won't be coaching. Right. I just won't be coaching." Yeah. And I like to debunk that. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? You can still be a life coach. I can give you everything that you need, and I can give you more because I'm not going to anybody. I'm not going to anybody who professes to be perfect in anything.
Right.
I'm not. I
Absolutely.
want to see if I connect to flawed people. I just do. I connect to flawed people, and and also I can trust a flawed person. I can't trust someone who pretends to be perfect because they're not even being honest with themselves. So why would I think that person would be honest with me in a friendship? And even with, and going back to that friend, even with that friend has experienced a lot and been through a lot. Not one time did I ever judge it. Never. Because I'm not, because I understand life happens, right?
It does. It
and
really
so
does.
you got to understand, before you judge someone else, show compassion and think about all of your stuff and everything that you've been through, everything that you're hiding.
Yeah. Most people who are doing this are hiding.
Right.
Like hiding a lot. Like they're so busy trying to reflect on you.
But that thumb is coming back.
Don't see what
that thumb is coming right back. You point to somebody else, it's coming back. You know what I mean? So I think it's so important to honor what you're feeling and what you've been through and what you're going through and what tomorrow may bring, what you're going through. And don't beat yourself up because you thought it was supposed to be a certain way, or you thought it was supposed to be designed to be that way. Honor everything about life.
Yes.
And know that this too shall pass.
Yes.
And you'll be able to be strong. Because I would rather have gone through everything I've gone through because it made me smarter.
Right. Yes, it
does. Makes you smarter.
Well, it's almost like what our show is about with Two Jersey Girls Talk. It's about circling back. Right? Yeah. If you've never been through anything, you can't circle back into the life lessons and apply them. Yeah. What's the point of going through something if you never learn anything to either apply or to help someone else? Yeah. Right, let me let you read that so we can wrap up. But this is just so amazing. But this is her part of her book that is important. She wants to share with you.
Okay, it's just two things. I want to read Unhealed, No Shame. There is no shame in your game that you have a little unhealed showing up in your world. 9 times out of 10, it's been held within since you were a little girl or a boy. Typically, that's how it goes as we go on with our lives, striving to survive, holding on tight to what we think we know about who we are, only to find out that we don't know much at all. Every time we fall, it shows that we are human and more alike than different. Life has a way of growing us up if we don't give up. Learning who we are through adversity, childhood wounds, and pains of today that don't often go away in our minds and hearts. However, giving it to God is the best start. While doing the work to recognize the unhealed that's showing up in places and spaces uninvited, don't allow people to shame you when you stumble or reveal the unhealed pieces that are hidden even from you. One thing for sure, 2 things for certain. Your unhealed spaces may trigger your shamers' unhealed places, and to address your imperfection allows them to not deal with theirs. Well, not anymore. We are opening windows and unlocking doors to a new freedom with purposeful reason. Healing is the new flex. Owning your healing is your passport to your new life. Yes, believe the hype. So what if your unhealed is showing? To know better is to do better. To do better is to live better. To live better is to live without shame. We all have room to be better by making the decision to do so. So let go of the guilt. Don't let anyone shame you for your story. Turn it around, do your work, and give God all the glory.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Guys, listen, that says it all. If, these 30 minutes you have not been inspired to want to get your unhealed out of the way, if you have not been inspired to want to make some changes and just have something that is so simple and so easy to read and so easy to follow, you don't need weeks and weeks and weeks of, classes and therapy. Listen, sometimes you just need to know what your triggers are. Sometimes you just need to know the simple things. And I'm not against therapy at all, but sometimes you just need a little book to kind of give you some guidance to the little things. Because the big things are not so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Like any tool that I can put into my repertoire that helps me be the joyful person that I know I was designed to be, I'm about it. I'm on it. Today, I spent hours on just doing things that help me with my unhealed areas and being honest with myself about where my unhealed areas are. And they're not always about relationships either.
No,
some of my unhealed areas are
self-worth.
about money. Some are about death. Some are about, like the parenting one. The one chapter that we didn't talk about, what we will get into one day, is the choices chapter, right? Because I do believe that in this life, we make our choices. We are in control. But like there's a topic in there where you say, how do I stop making bad choices? Sometimes we really do need to learn how to make better choices. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Be at 40, at 30, at 60, at 70, people are making good choices for their life. So
and it's called choices and challenges because people beat themselves up. It's choices and challenges because people beat themselves up for the choices and decisions they make, and they need to heal from that. And learning how to let that go and just try to make a better choice next time. I'm sorry.
No, and understanding that life, the things that happen in life are not meant to destroy you or to make you feel shame. They are for you to learn and grow from. When you accept that everything is always working out for you, and all you have to do is honor everything about life that brings about the healing. Simple as that. So guys, this has been
Episode 2.
Yes.
And I was honored. Let me just say, my sister here, now this wasn't me, like, could you interview me to promote my idea? We were doing episode 2, and she said, what do you want to do? And then she said, my idea was
to interview her about this book because I just felt like it was so effective. Like I said, I don't support people to support people. I didn't do this because she's the co-host of the show and she didn't come to me for any, can you plug my book? I just really felt like you guys needed to know that this was out here and that this was another tool on the table for you. So Amazon.com, KENDELLENICE. Get it there or get it on her page. And guys, listen, this is 2 Jersey girls circling back to what is real. And this right here, your unhealed
back to healing
is real. It's as real as it gets.
So this could be your signed copy.
Yes. So send in those paragraphs, sending that video telling us in what ways you feel. Is that what you said? Your unhealed is showing?
Yeah, when you recognize it's unhealed, your unhealed is showing.
And listen, be vulnerable. We're not going to put this out to anybody else, but we're just sharing it with Kendell, and hey, get your free book. And if you don't get the free book, go buy it. It is an investment that is worth it. All right, so Kendell, you want to say anything to wrap up?
Woo, cha. This is episode 2 of 2 Jersey Girls. Circling back to what's real, and what's real is healing. So go on out there and get yourself some healing, and know that healing is progressive. It's not going to be, oh shoot, I'm healed. You can be healed from certain things, but then you'll see something else that you need to heal. So it is progressive. It's a work. It leads to healing, and it's not the work makes perfection. The work makes progress in your life. So when people say
perfection is the progress. Perfection is not giving up and going through whatever it is that you're going through, living life for the experience that it is. That's what makes it perfect.
Perfect, being perfectly unperfect for real. And knowing that there's nothing wrong with you if you see your unhealed showing. There's nothing wrong with you if you seek coaching or therapy or talking to someone. You're not the only one. You're not the only one that's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever, that needs to heal. And there's no cap and there's no age on healing. Well, I'm 20, I should have healed from that. I'm 30, I'm 50, I should have healed from that. I will be 52 in June. She will be 51 in June. And there's still some things that you can see that are unhealed. I can say this. Something happened to me today. And I saw something happened to me. Not something happened today. You might as well say hi. Oh, thank you so much. Somebody is watching. They said thumbs up. Thank you so much. Come get in the camera. Look, come around this way. anyways, they're watching the show.
We can have a little audience. I know, right?
Energetic.
Oh,
What you say?
this is my book. Would you like it?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes, we're like, oh my God, what are they doing? We're doing a podcast, and you guys have so much energy.
Oh,
you look great. We love the money and everything.
Oh.
So good luck to you.
Thank
Whatever
you
you're
so
doing.
much.
And
Thank you.
it's like we're just over there. It's like kind of energizing us, and we're not even
Oh,
part of what
means-
you're
She
doing.
just said that what we were doing is energizing her, and
Yeah,
that means so much to us. Like really,
It
really
is.
means a lot.
It is. It's
You
like
have a pen? I'm gonna get it.
ladies.
Let me see. Yes, I do.
So this one is one of the. I'm gonna give you this book. This is one of the pre-copies. Before the
Just
actual
in the
book
slide,
came
right
out,
in
so
the
there'll be some
spots.
kind of mistakes in there. So just disregard those and look at what's being said in here. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
You have a pen? I have a pen. I have to get out of the camera.
Are you done with your?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, guys, we're going to go ahead and close down. You see how this really happens?
We're gonna keep it. Okay.
She's about to sign this right here. Oh, I'm glad you found the purple pen because that's where it needs to be in anyway. So just like this, guys, you can have your own signed copy. Matter of fact, ma'am, sign mine. And what's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa, it is so nice to meet you.
Yes,
Hey, come around to the camera.
No, I don't want
She doesn't want to. We respect that.
camera.
We totally respect that. So, like, look, it's like having our first man, right?
Thank
Good
you
luck
so
to you.
much. Thank you so
Whatever.
much.
And it's March, and it's Women's Month.
Yep.
Yes,
And colon
today is
cancer
Women's Day,
awareness
yes.
month, and I'm a colon cancer survivor.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Today is really a special day.
Women supporting women.
Yes,
Good
women
luck to you.
supporting women.
Yes.
I want to give her a hug too.
Thank
Let me
you.
give her a
Thank
hug.
you.
Wait a minute, guys.
Even my husband was like, "What's going on?" That was true.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Guys, excuse us. We're sorry, but you know, like this is what happens when you're live, right?
She said she's gonna make her cry. She's about to make me cry. Oh, she said she's about to cry, and then she's about to make me cry. Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Bless you too. Thank you so much. Oh, this is why.
Guys, what a great ending
This
to the
is
show,
why-
right? That's
This is
amazing.
why. This is why.
Yeah,
I'm
this
about
is
to
exactly
cry.
why. Oh.
This is why. Oh my goodness. Like I'm.
That's humbling, right? Isn't that so humbling?
Girl, I'm not joking. I'm
No,
not
I see
joking.
it. You're gonna make me tear up.
I'm not joking.
Like it is such an amazing feeling when you touch somebody's life, right? Like, she was sitting
I'm
over there with her
not
husband, and
joking.
she walked over and said, "You guys have energized me and lifted me." Like that's an amazing feeling, and all we're doing is just sharing life stories with the world, you know, like everybody else is doing. So I'm really grateful right now.
I'm like
Amazing,
so.
right? Like so grateful.
This is
Yeah.
like confirmation.
Yeah, like we say, if you touch one person, it changes everything. And I don't mean like we
Thank
touch
you.
them as in I did it, but just that somebody smiled and somebody felt love, and somebody felt joy, and somebody felt a part of something is a great feeling. It really
It's
is.
a great feeling,
Yeah.
and to be able to. I just happened to look through, and she just was like, and her husband is there, and just to know that the first episode we did, somebody said something,
Yeah, we
behind
got
us.
2 followers over it too.
and
Yeah.
then we're here. We're the only ones here on this side.
And we
of
could
where
have been
we
upset
are.
about, like, we couldn't record what we wanted to, and we could have gotten upset, but it goes to show how everything is always working out for you. It was quieter here,
And
the
I was
lighting
like,
was better.
and something was like, go to this place.
Yeah.
And Ahisha got here first. She went to the place, and she was like,
Let's see if we got
and
Wi-Fi.
this is our permanent
It's
place.
perfect.
This is
I
it.
love it. I love it.
This is
Nobody's
it.
here.
This is
It really is nice to see. Everything is always working out for you. And guys, we love so much that you're tuning in. What do you say, Renee?
Renee said, you cannot coach without experience. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So that was
Great job,
phenomenal.
ladies. Have a wonderful evening. Congratulations. Hi, Lisa. She said her name.
I think we're going to
Everybody
end up
said
making
hi,
this an
Lisa.
hour show now.
And
Kendell
then-
told us 30 minutes, and then she extended it.
That's because we had to allow
Had to.
this to take place.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it being our show, we could
Do
do
whatever we
whatever
want,
we want.
right?
So
Right.
some days it might be 30 minutes, it may be 45. It will never go over an hour because we respect your time.
Yeah,
Renee
yeah.
said that was phenomenal. Everybody online is saying hi, Lisa.
Guys,
her
thank
husband
you
is
so
there.
much for your support. Thank you for
That's
following
right,
us. We
yeah.
hope that you got some really good nuggets today. And if nothing else, that you were inspired to do something about your unhealed, even if it's taking the first step of recognizing that you have some.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe that's why I'm snapping at people, or maybe that's why, I'm at work going off, or maybe I'm yelling at my children, or not feeling romantic toward my husband, or any of those things. Any of those things. There are triggers that are happening and you may not be aware of it. And I'm not saying going looking for your unhealed, but you know when things are off inside of you. You know when things are not right. Just be honest with yourself about it. So, maybe I got some unhealed that I need to do.
Yeah, because today, and we're going to end, but today I felt left out. And I said, that's an unhealed space.
Right,
because I'm the type of person, I don't like anybody to be left out. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm very, very inclusive.
Right.
I've been this way since I was little. She's not exclusive. And she didn't make my unhealed show. She's not inclusive. I am. Like, I want everybody to come, everybody to feel good. I'm that one that's going to go around to everyone. You okay? You all right? I want everybody to feel included. And I know that's an unhealed, not that part, but where something today was kind of small and I felt excluded. Now, nobody did it on purpose. It wasn't intentional, but I felt a tinge. And I said, And I love checking it. It's like a game. Check that. Correct that. Look at that. Fix that. And then you grow. It's a feeling when you be like, ooh, I feel so exciting. Let me check so I can be better and better. But please go back to watch this from the beginning. So you have to see how we have our audience right here. We're going to have an audience. We need to invite people and have an audience. But okay.
All right. So we're done, guys. It's 2 minutes to 8. We thank you so much for being here. Yes. We hope you tune in next week to 2 Jersey Girls Talk.
Tell them about our Instagram page to follow.
Yeah, at 2 Jersey Girls Talk.
The number
right?
2.
Number 2, Jersey, but the girls is GIRLZ Talk. All one word. Follow us there. It's going to get better and better and better and better, guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you, and we are so grateful. And remember, guys, everything is always working out for you.
Healing is important.
Yes.
What did I say?
Say it. Right. What's the acronym for HEAL, y'all?
Honor everything about life.
I'm never going to forget that.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Everybody, remember, you're a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Till next time. God bless y'all. Peace.
Wow.
Bless.